लो यार मोबाइल पकड़ना चाहोगे क्या? आज सही है, सही है।
Today we're going to
चाहिए
be upon the topic building modern applications with a MERN stack and APIs. I will begin with introducing what we mean by the MERN stack. The MERN stack is a popular Java-based technology stack used for building full-stack web applications. It comprises of 4 key components: MongoDB, ExpressJS, ReactJS, and NodeJS. MongoDB is a NoSQL database for storing data in the JSON format. ExpressJS is a lightweight framework. It's a JavaScript framework which is used for building APIs and handling errors and routing. ReactJS is a library. It's a JavaScript library which is used to build a dynamic front end. And NodeJS is a runtime environment that enables server-side JavaScript execution. These components work together, providing developers with a unified language, JavaScript, which works throughout all 4 of these technologies across the stack for efficient and consistent development. Now, talking about why is it that we use the MERN stack. There are multiple factors as to why we use the MERN stack. Initially, starting with flexibility and scalability. There is end-to-end testing available in it. It also allows developers to test the entire application workflow as the backend, frontend, and the API calling is all written in JavaScript. It helps us build real-world applications very easily nowadays. It is also one of the most widely used technology stacks for modern applications. It's used in social media platforms, e-commerce websites, you name it, you can make it through MERN. Its versatility and simplicity make it a go-to choice for startups and enterprises looking to build scalable, user-friendly applications. Moving on, I would now be talking about the workflow of full-stack development, how it works, how the front end sends data to the back end, what happens between it. So it involves building both the front end, which is also known as the client side, and the back end, which is also known as the server side of an application, as well as managing the database. The goal is to create a seamless user experience where the front end communicates with the back end to fetch or manipulate data stored in the database. The overview of it is that there's a client side, there's a server side. The client side is the front end, which is built with ReactJS. The server side is the back end, which is built with NodeJS and ExpressJS. Then there is database management. We can use whatever database that we want to. We can use a NoSQL database, we can use an SQL database. We can use a NoSQL database because it's more compatible with React and the latest versions of React and JavaScript. Then there's API communication, which we've done through Axios. And then there's deployment. That's concept that we haven't undertaken in our own project. The interaction takes place in the following way. ReactJS handles the user interaction. Users interact with the app through a browser. React handles events and sends requests to the backend via APIs. API requests are handled by ExpressJS. React sends HTTP requests to API endpoints defined in the ExpressJS server. Data operations are managed by MongoDB. The ExpressJS server queries or updates the MongoDB database as per the request. Then there's response delivery, which again is handled by MongoDB and ExpressJS. MongoDB provides the required data. ExpressJS processes the data and sends it back as a JSON response to React. And then finally, React updates the UI in real time. Moving on, I will now be describing MongoDB as a technology. First of all, starting with what are NoSQL databases. We keep talking about MongoDB being a NoSQL database. What is a NoSQL database? A NoSQL database is a type of database management system that is designed to handle and store large volumes of unstructured and semi-structured data. NoSQL databases are generally classified into 4 main categories: document databases, key value stores, column family stores, and graph databases. We will not be going into the depths of them because I myself haven't studied any of it. Key features of NoSQL: it has a dynamic schema, there is horizontal scalability, it's document based, it's implementation. There's an entire presentation that we've prepared, after which there is the implementation, and then there's a part where we explain the implementation. So if it's okay with you, we would like to continue explaining this. Then talking about MongoDB, should I just skip side if it's getting too redundant. MongoDB is an open source NoSQL document-oriented database designed to handle large-scale data efficiently. Unlike SQL databases, it stores data in flexible schema-less BSIN format, which is the binary JSON format, and it's organized in collections analogous to tables. Some of the key features include flexible schema, it being a NoSQL database, efficient data storage, multi-language support, and high scalability. Next, I'm going to explain ExpressJS. ExpressJS is a NodeJS framework.
Have you written these steps on your own or simply copy from the chat GPT?
I have written it.
Okay. They can be elaborate.
Some of the unique features of ExpressJS include routing, middleware, error handling, request and response object, and body parsing. These are the steps to create an ExpressJS application. First and foremost, we need to install Express. First and foremost, we need to install the Express framework, for which we use the npm init command. We first initialize Node.js in our application, after which we install the ExpressJS framework. Then to use the ExpressJS framework, we need to first require it, install it into our file, after which we need to create an instance for it, after which we can start using its methods and functionalities that it provides. That is pretty much it. And then
now I will tell you about what is React. React is a JavaScript library built for building user interface on the web.react. It is a declarative component-based JavaScript library for the building the fast and reliable UIs. It uses Virtual DOM to optimize the rendering performance and integrate well with the other tools and libraries. How React works? React operates by creating an in-memory virtual DOM rather by directly manipulating browser's DOM. It performs necessary manipulations within this virtual representation before applying changes to the actual browser DOM. Features of the React are component-based architecture, JSX, JavaScript syntax extensions, virtual DOM, one-way data binding, performance components, and single-page applications. Now, what is Node.js? Node.js is an open-source cross-platform JavaScript runtime environment that allows developers to run JavaScript code on the server side. Created by this is the history of the Node.js. So I scale reasons to choose JavaScript. Reasons to choose Node.js because it is easy to get started, scalability, runtime web application apps, fast suits, and unified language and rich environment. How to use Node.js? How Node.js works? Node.js accepts the client's request and send request. It handles requests using the single thread. For input-output operation, Node.js uses the concept of threads. A thread is a sequence of server instructions that can be run in parallel. Node.js is an even loop single-threaded language. It handles concurrent requests efficiently without blocking a single request. Applications of Node.js are runtime, real-time chats, complex single-page applications, real-time collaboration tools, streaming apps, and JSON APIs. What are APIs? APIs are API application program interface. It a set of rules and the protocols that allow software applications to communicate with each other. It defines methods and data formats for interaction between the components. API enables seamless integration between the systems and the platforms. Rules. Yes, ma'am.
Demonstration too?
Yes, ma'am. Rules for RESTful APIs in one-stack application. RESTful APIs. APIs built following the principles of representational.
Implementation क्या होगा? Details क्या होगा?
These are the tools and equipment we use. We create a blog API. We have to enter a name, username, and password. Then we created our ID. Then we click on sign up. Then our ID is created. Then we enter username and password and login. Then this is the home page. Then there is a blogs and there is a blog that is this is author and the date of the blog. This is title and description of the blog, and this is the page. Then we can create a blog by categories also.
कोड एक्सप्लेन करो उसका मैम पूरा वीडियो हो जाए
Then we create a new blog.
डायरेक्टली कोड पे
इसमें दो फोल्डर्स हैं, क्लाइंट फोल्डर है, सर्वर फोल्डर है। क्लाइंट फोल्डर में पूरा फ्रंट एंड बना हुआ है। इसमें सबसे पहले इनिशियली हमने रिएक्ट इनिशियलाइज करा। रिएक्ट इनिशियलाइज करने पर सोर्स फोल्डर बनता है, पब्लिक फोल्डर हमको मिलता है, नोड मॉड्यूल्स मिलते हैं। इसमें कंपोनेंट्स फोल्डर है जिसमें हमारे सारे कंपोनेंट्स हैं जो हमने रेंडर करे हैं हमारे पेज पर। उसमें नेमली
कोई भी एक पेज का डिस्क्रिप्शन बना दो, लाइक ब्लॉग जो आपने बनाया उस वाले उसका डिस्क्रिप्शन बना
जो होम पेज है कि जो
को
क्रिएशन वाला
ब्लॉग, हाँ ब्लॉग क्रिएट है ना वो वाला।
तो ये क्रिएट पोस्ट का इम्प्लीमेंटेशन है। ये पूरा स्टाइलिंग का मेथड है। मैंने इसमें मटेरियल यूआई भी यूज करा है। तो मटेरियल यूआई के कंपोनेंट्स को स्टाइल करने के लिए स्पेसिफिक सिंटैक्स यूज करना पड़ता है, जिसमें अपन को एक वेरिएबल स्टोर करके स्टाइल एक फंक्शन होता है जो मटेरियल यूआई से इंपोर्ट होता है, जो यूज करके अपन अपनी कंपोनेंट्स को स्पेसिफिकली स्टाइल कर सकते हैं। तो सारे कंपोनेंट्स इधर स्टाइल हैं। उसके बाद जब हम एक पोस्ट क्रिएट कर रहे हैं तो पोस्ट क्रिएट करते वक्त सारे इनपुट जो फील्ड्स हैं उनमें कुछ ना कुछ हम डेटा एंटर कर रहे हैं। हमारे इनपुट फील्ड्स हैं, टाइटल है, डिस्क्रिप्शन है, हम एक पिक्चर ऐड कर रहे हैं, यूजर नेम है, कैटेगरीज हैं और एक डेट है उस पोस्ट की क्रिएशन की। तो ये सब हम एंटर कर रहे हैं फील्ड इनपुट फील्ड्स के थ्रू। तो इन वेरिएबल्स में स्टोर होंगे, कहीं हमको फ्रंट एंड पर भी उनको स्टोर करना पड़ेगा, तो इस वेरिएबल में स्टोर करेंगे। फिर ये रिएक्ट कंपोनेंट है जो रेंडर होता है एक्चुअली। ये हमने एक ऑब्जेक्ट बनाया है और ये ऑब्जेक्ट जो है ये हमारे पोस्ट का इनिशियल वैल्यू होगा। जब तक उसमें कुछ और वैल्यू नहीं आता तब तक वो सारी वैल्यूज एम्प्टी होंगी। तो ये अपन ने यूज स्टेट हुक यूज करके एक वेरिएबल बनाया और सेट पोस्ट मेथड है उसके बाद। फिर अपन ने
पार्ट ऑफ इट वी हैव यूज्ड JWT authorization to implement the logic behind it. For the backend we use Azure to call APIs. We use for data click on and on change attributes to handle data begin enter into input field. Step 2, creating button functionalities to create post. Using the on click attribute, we have created a function that execute on click to our button and call an API which has its own functionality in the backend. Upon being clicked, we are navigated to the page where we can edit file and create our post. Step 3, making the functionalities of the home page. The home page renders our post in component, and each post is made through our React post component. Upon being clicked, a detailed view of blog post is opened. Here one can update and delete a post if they are the authors. Step 4. Additional functionalities for the home page, updating and deletion. For the updating functionality, we call author IP API. For the deletion functionality, we can simply create a function, the delete button, where we can retrieve the specific post using its ID and the use and delete button, delete method to the delete it. These are the GitHub links for the blog.